This is the Norwood Cable Commission. I'd like to call this meeting to order today. And we're doing it slightly out of order in the interest of Mr. Frank's schedule. We're letting him go first. So we'll start with a review of Comcast minutes from the previous meeting, and I'll wait for a motion to accept them.
I technically can't make a motion because I wasn't at it, but I'll,
Oh, okay. Ed, I guess you have to move to accept them.
Yeah, I move to accept the minutes as read.
All right. And-
second.
No second. Okay. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Thank you. The minutes are accepted as read. Thank you, Harriet. Okay. Next, we have old business. I think the old business that's here is an update on the HD channel.
So it's going to be turned up on the 28th, 9 days.
Great. So Jack, you guys are all ready?
I beg your pardon?
Yeah, I know that we were ready.
I was just asking. And all right,
What channel will
so
it be?
a little bit behind, but
Yes, I do. We really appreciate your patience on that. We know we're really behind on it, but the channel's going to be 1072.
well, it's trying times for everyone, I'm afraid. So do we know what channel number that's going to be for people who are Comcast customers?
1072.
1072. Okay, great. Thank you. I think that was all the old business we had in front of us. Oh, I didn't mention complaints. There aren't any complaints that we know of. So that's good too. And was there any new business or things that Comcast would like to tell the people watching?
I didn't have anything in particular to bring up. No, but
Okay.
as always, if you do get some complaints, definitely don't wait for things. Pass them right along to me.
We won't. And Kirky, could I ask you to, and I'm going to ask the other people too, to make sure that Harriet has up-to-date contact information. I think some of the contact information I have for people is a little out of date. I just think it's a good time to review and make sure we're using the communications that you want used. So
Yeah,
just
I have changed my my signature on my email to take off my office phone. I do. If someone calls
Okay.
and leaves a message at the office, I'll get it I'll check it and get it. But mailing me stuff at the office, I'm basically not. And if I get a letter, no one's going to collect it and tell me. So please don't mail me anything at the office.
that's good to know. So, and you're not the person we would send official email to anyways, right? Is that still the address that's spelled out of the contract?
Right. Still use those. Those are still good.
Okay. All right. Just good to check on that once in a while.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree.
So no
We don't
complaints, no
have
new
the-
business. I don't think.
We
Sorry,
don't
Harry,
have
go
his-
ahead.
Yeah, we don't have his cell number, and because on this sheet, I have his other email, but I don't have his phone number or his cell phone number, because I have Robert Sullivan's.
No,
Right. So that's right.
okay.
Just send that to Harriet, please.
Sure, I will.
All right.
Thank you.
And is there anything else? Jack,
No.
is there anything else
Thanks for
with
taking me
Comcast that you
first.
wanted to bring up, or?
I don't have anything in particular to talk about. But I did want to thank you all for taking me first. That was very kind of you.
It's okay. Happy to help out. I know there's a lot of. Go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Greg, I know it was kind of a long road to get the HD channel, and I'm excited that Comcast viewers will be able to watch what we do in HD. So for the people at home, what that means is Comcast Channel 8, which is our community channel, will be broadcast in HD on channel 1072. And the Verizon viewers watching this already have the channel 2135 in HD. And if you're watching on Northern Light Broadband, all 3 channels are HD. So at least we know we have, the community channel on all 3 in HD at the same time. So we'll come up with a way to promote that so people will know. We'll remind them that channel 8 is HD on 1072. This is exciting.
Great.
We shoot everything in HD and we want everyone to see it in HD. So thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much. So I think, Harriet, our next meeting.
Yes, would be
The
April.
next meeting we want Greg to come to.
Yes, April, and the second Tuesday in April is the 13th. It seems like there's a lot of meetings on the second Tuesday. Is that correct, Jack?
I don't have the calendar open, but the selectmen do meet on Tuesdays.
Yeah, and so I don't know if you want to change it to the third Tuesday, which this one is tonight. It might help some. So that would be
Well, why don't
April.
we take a look and we'll get back to you.
Okay, you can do that.
Is that, I don't have a problem with that at all. Does anybody else okay with that as the date we pick?
Either date's fine.
The 20th, is that what you're talking?
Fine with me.
Great.
Okay,
All right. Why don't we make it the 20th, and Harriet, we'll look at the calendar and decide if that becomes a thing we want to make permanent,
okay,
have third Tuesdays.
yep.
Great.
Super.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Right.
So I think next we're on to.
Usually Norwood Light is in the middle. So do you want to do Norwood Light?
Okay. Sure. Let me close out. Let me make my desktop less confusing for me. All right. Oops. Stop that. All right. So the first thing will be the minutes from the previous meeting of October 6th. So I'll wait for a motion on that.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes as read.
I'll second.
I hear a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
I guess we accept the minutes as read. Thank you, Harriet. Okay, oops. Oh, All right, so what we have under old business for Norwood Light. Oh, I should talk about the complaint log. There aren't any complaints on right now. So that's always good. There'd been some discussion in the minutes about the retransmission consent. So I think the last issues were an issue that I think everybody's having, which is some channels were negotiating and some things were up in the air.
Sure. Every 3 years, we have to renegotiate with the local broadcasters for rights to retransmit their content. And this is the third year for 3 of them, for us anyways, and there's one off year for one other. So we just got done with those in December, and we were cruelly treated once again. At least one of the stations wanted to double their rates.
Were they going to have the ads that they put on?
What's that?
Were they going to have the advertising that they put on so that,
Yeah, no, you still get all the
Um,
advertising and you pay for it. so.
Okay.
So, there's other solutions. If for people who are somewhat technical, they can put an antenna up on their house and just change sources on their TV. And-
Not very straightforward, but yes.
Are we
No.
gonna lose, are you gonna lose any, Daryl, or?
We're not going to lose any. No, we know that our customers like those channels. They're all the local news and local sports and not a whole lot of local programming anymore, but there's some of that. So we just do the best we can to keep the rates down, and unfortunately, they have to be passed on to the customer. So it seems to me that they're hurting themselves really. At some point, everybody's going to disconnect their cable, right? And there's nobody
Well, I understand that that's a model some people have, but I have to tell you, if you go trying to figure out how you're going to get everything you want by buying a bunch of bundles and figuring out yourself and staying on top of the changes, you might decide that that's actually your time and trouble is worth some money, and maybe you won't. I think it reaches a level where people who don't want to deal with the complexity just stay with what we now call traditional cable. That's my own personal view, not supported by any scientific data.
Well, there are a lot who support you though,
There you go.
Richard. Our industry is seeing that same trend, and we're kind of hoping, and we kind of think what's going to happen is after a while the rates are going to go up on all the streaming services, and as you said, it's going to be hard to aggregate them all in one spot, and that's what customers have always looked at the cable companies to do, and we're still good at it, and we're going to continue doing it for as long as we can.
Have you noticed many cord cutters, Daryl, or it's pretty low right now with what's going on, or?
Yeah, the cord cutting has let up some. There's we're still losing counts every year, but it has slowed down some. It's funny though, we were kind of thinking that as the customers were cutting their cords, our costs would go down, but that's not the way it's working. Since everybody's jacking up their rates so high, our costs are staying pretty flat while our customer counts are going down.
You're picking them up on the other side, on the internet, or?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, we have a great internet service, and people are very loyal, so they're hanging on to that. So I did want to say, unless you had any other questions, Richard.
I don't think I did, and if you have things you want our viewers to hear, and or other new business you want to bring up with us, go ahead.
A few things, and this one's probably more for you folks, is if you didn't hear, Jim Collins retired a couple weeks ago, January 8th, as superintendent of the light department.
Oh,
And if you know our staff over there, Kevin Shaughnessy has taken the role. I had on my list retransmission consent, which we already spoke about. We've been working really hard with the schools, helping students maintain their internet service, especially those whose family might be struggling right now. We're making sure that they all have their service, as well as just residents around town. We haven't been disconnecting our customers.
Right.
I'm trying to work with them to keep their services going the best we can.
right. And to interject, both Verizon and Comcast have been involved in efforts to make sure students stay connected, and everybody thinks that's important, and everybody's acting like it's important, and that's great. And I know that having the internet service inside the town like that, there's a lot of pressure from the educational stuff to keep that working correctly.
Right. And to be honest, Comcast has been doing this for many years, so it was easy for them, to fill that role.
Right.
So kudos to them. But we also have a close relationship with the school department, so it's pretty seamless for us to help them out, and likewise for them.
Great.
And that's what I had on my list this month.
Okay. Well, that's good. And then I guess, and is this format okay to show up at the same meetings with everybody else, Daryl? Would you like to have it separate? I know we started doing this. We sort of accidentally ended up sweeping everybody into the same meeting. And I don't know if that's a format. I think that would be up to you and and Neil to decide if you wanted to do it that way or get them spread out.
You muted, Neil, but yeah, I don't
I
think
no,
it's.
it's great. No objections at all.
All right, so I guess then, Daryl, we'll see you in March, the third Tuesday.
April.
Oh, wait,
April. That's right, April, the third Tuesday. Oh, I'm going to do my.
That does work out better. 'cause
I blame Ed. Ed started that. Go ahead.
When we do appear before the selectmen, it's usually on the second Tuesday, so that does help us quite a bit.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, and you guys are more likely to do that than anybody else. Yeah,
Mhm.
and yes. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Okay, thank
and
you,
we'll
everyone.
See you then.
Okay, take care.
Good night.
Hi, Darryl.
Right.
So Neil, you're up next. We'll I'll start. I guess we need the Verizon minutes from the October 6th meeting.
Make a motion that we accept the minutes as read.
Second.
All those in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Then the minutes are accepted as read. Thank you, Harriet. Now, under old business, oh no, complaints. There aren't any complaints, and that's good. Although we'll be discussing that a little bit later. We actually think the complaint number was changed by the towns, so we'll have to see about that. But frankly, there haven't been complaints the last few months about cable service in general. We'll have to see if we actually have any terrible winter storms, if we hear about that. But for now, that hasn't happened. So all the wires seem pretty good. I think I saw one or two houses having rewiring done after the last big storm, but no complaints. The one issue, we are entering the contract renewal phase, and I'm still hoping maybe in May we actually could have a physical, public hearing at the town hall. Since we're not in a rush for the contract stuff, and I think we're approaching a time when we can do things publicly, the idea of trying to have the hearing virtually, it seems uncomfortable to me. But I'd rather do it when it's safer for us to get together. So I'm thinking May might work out. You think that would work, Neil?
Well, again,
Verizon.
the Verizon would not participate in the public hearing. We view that that's between you.
Okay.
I mean, I'm thrilled you're doing an ascertainment, but our presence, I think, skews that, and we usually don't attend the public hearings until the vote.
Okay. That's true. I mean, sometimes you just, your legal staff has asked for a video recording of it, but I just, want to make sure that if somebody at Verizon were to decide that was important, it would be possible to do that. Okay. So we're still tentatively thinking we could do that in May. All right. But certainly not before that. And if things don't improve, well, then we would wait, I think, early in the fall. I think that would still be okay. Though I'd rather do it earlier rather than later.
Rich, is Norwood Light?
I think that was the only old. What?
Is Norwood Light the same year as Verizon now, or are they a year apart? I think they might be the
It's
same.
actually somebody's the same year, and offhand I don't remember which one it is.
I think it's
I'll be
Norwood
looking at the contract soon.
Verizon.
I think it's Norwood
Norwood
Light.
Light.
It's the same thing, right?
It's Norwood Light.
Okay, thanks, Ed. The same year. All right,
The
so we
same
have
year.
to. I'll have to see where they are with the letter. I probably should have brought it up at this meeting, but yeah, and I don't know if they put their letter in yet or not. Okay, and I don't know if there was any new business or news. I know that.
This is January, so the Form 500 will go to, speaking of complaints, the Department of Telecommunications and Cable, and the report then
Right.
goes to the town. That's the end of
Mhm.
January.
Yeah, I'll watch for that.
Yep.
I think that's really about it for excitement. I don't know if you wanted to speak to it, Neil, and it's not directly cable stuff, but Verizon also had a program basically for students and internet connection that they had. I think they had one that they'd announced.
Yeah, and I would just.
Do you have
refer
any
people to
details
the
on the?
website. I would just refer people to the Verizon.com website. I really don't want to speak outside of the, you know, the
Okay, no,
TV
you don't have to,
license.
but if you are a Verizon customer and you and an internet customer, you just make sure you understand how that works with your kids. If you're having any kind of issues, it's definitely stay up to date on how it's working, because I know that Verizon, like the other companies, has made an effort to help out with kids who have to learn remotely.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, and I can appreciate that you might not want to speak on it yourself, but
Again,
I can at least
website
mention that
has,
it exists.
you know, a multitude of information on it. You know, a lot of it is tied
Exactly.
to Lifeline. If you qualify for Lifeline, you would qualify for the low-cost internet. We're also working with
Yep.
schools on, you know, mobile hotspots. But again, I'd really refer folks to the Verizon.com website for the specifics.
For official information. Yes. And I would urge parents of students to check that out, because there are other details and programs that you might discover that you didn't know about.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that covers everything, unless there's something else you wanted to bring up.
No, all's well, and, you know, we continue to provide the best service we
Great.
can to Norwood. As you know, the contract expires October 22, and we'll work toward a, you know, mutually agreeable renewal.
That is the plan.
It is indeed.
Great. Peter, Ed, you guys have anything?
Nope.
Or Jack? No. All right, great. Well, thank you so much for coming, Neil, and your patience in waiting to go
No,
last.
no problem. And we'll see you in April, and I hope everyone stays
Stay-
safe. And Harriet, my best for your daughter.
Yes.
Hope it goes well.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
All the best.
Thanks, Neil. And good night.
Thank you, Neil.
So next up is us. So I guess first we have to do our own minutes. Commission minutes from October 6th. So I'll wait for a motion.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes as read.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The minutes are accepted as read. Thank you, Harriet. There are no, talking about complaints, they seem to have changed the phone number for the complaint line. Ed, the last time you used it, did it work under the old extension?
No, it wouldn't work at all. I couldn't get even on.
All right. Yeah, it told me that number no longer exists. So not the phone
wasn't
number,
able to
but the
get on.
extension. I think they changed the system. Well, so I'll try to call them tomorrow, Harriet, and see what's going
Okay.
on. All right, and then I'll let you folks all know. And and also, Peter and Ed, make sure Harriet has. We should make sure we have the preferred contact information for everybody is in Harriet's hands, and she can issue a new listing. I don't think we've done that for a while, right?
We have not.
Yeah, so we probably should. So under old business, the old business we mentioned before was we really need another cable commissioner. And Jack, did you put something up for a while? We were going to have you were going to do that.
You know what? I know it's not on right now and I don't remember, but we'll put one up
Okay.
tomorrow.
Great. Okay, we could have that problem. And anybody watching, if you'd like to join in, it's responsible fun. So, and it's not too arduous, right, folks? So consider applying to the selectmen and volunteering to join the cable commission. That would be good. And as soon as we have when we have the new complaint number that's working, Jack, maybe you could put that up on public television too. So I'll call you when I have it, when I figure out how it's working, or email you.
Okay.
And Peter, you and Ed too, and Joan. I don't, under new business, I guess at some point we'll have to find out who's going to be doing our legal work.
I was
For the
gonna
new
ask that
contract.
question. Is Peter Epstein retired?
I don't know. I would imagine that he is, but I should get in touch with Epstein and Associates and see what's going on. Or, you know,
I called that office one time for some question on, I forget what it was now, something, and they said Peter was still there.
I wouldn't be surprised by that either.
Yeah.
Of course, we're not going to be finished with this till 2022, sometime next year. So, all right, but I guess I'll look into that as well.
Yeah.
So much work being chairman. Do we have any other issues that we need to bring up? Jack,
Yeah, I just, is this a time where I can do a Norwood Community Media recap?
I think it's a perfect time for that.
Okay. I have some notes here, and what I want to do is just recap, because we met in October, and just to kind of update the commission and the public, kind of summarize some of the
Great.
things that we're doing. Right off the bat, a lot of what we've been doing with the Board of Health is helping update the community on COVID, any kind of updates and any kind of numbers and statistics and vaccine news. We've got a great partnership with the Board of Health and Segal specifically. And so they use us to help get the word out to the community. So the Board of Health has been, and Norwood Community Media has been really great working together. Next up is our government meeting coverage. The government meetings like this one right here are all remote, a lot of them. And we had some issues with the selectmen meeting being what we call a hybrid meeting, where they're actually in person and they have people remotely joining in. So that's new in our world and how to handle that. So we're able to get that going so it meets our standards. And so the meeting down at the community room has been happening fine now. If you recall, in November, we had town meeting, and that was something that we worked closely with the moderator and town government to produce informational sessions to make the actual town meeting a little bit more streamlined, to reduce the amount of contact in the high school gymnasium. And that went fine. We posted the election results this fall. We produced the library was having interviews for the new director position. So those interviews were live on Norwood Community Media. And as I said, some of the meetings we've been doing 3 this past week, very busy meeting schedule last week, where some of them, there were 3 meetings a day. So town government has been really, really cooking, and all the meetings, all the commissions and committees have been meeting quite regularly. A new one that we've been covering is the middle school project, and that's been formed to help the process to learn about the possibility of a new middle school, and we've been covering that process as well, which is a new way, and to me is a transparent way to show the community and learn about the process of a possible new middle school. Norwood News, we haven't missed a week, and we take a lot of pride in that. We recap the government meetings. We've got department head reports, school news reports, special events and updates. And so Norwood News is something that we work on every single week. Because of COVID, sports production now has increased. This fall, we produced 33 games because parents weren't allowed, depending on the venue, away parents couldn't come and only home parents could come. So we decided to really help support that. And on the weekends, covered freshman, JV, and varsity sports in the fall, and we're doing it right now with the winter sports to try to help out the seniors and all the members of the athletic teams. This is their final year as a senior, so we really want to help them out. Related to that is our partnership with the Skating Club of Boston, where we just finished testing and installing cabling and connectors and connection boxes for the Skating Club of Boston, and we're broadcasting the hockey games live.
Wow, that's great.
Really great facility. I think, it's a destination for the town, and when the opportunity comes, when everybody gets a chance, they really work well with the town and want to open their doors so everyone can take a look. So that's exciting. And finally, just to wrap up some of our programming, I honestly think that some of the things that we have done has helped Norwood kind of continue to be Norwood. The Veterans Day, we packaged with, Brian Boudreau packaged that with Ted Mulvihill so we could continue to have a Veterans Day program on TV. Mike Maloof worked closely with the Friends of St. Nick, and they did a virtual program which raised over $20,000 in a time where people couldn't go to 4 Points, which I think shows that Norwood wants to help out Norwood. We brought back our Santa Show, and we had over 40 children call live or Skype and talk to Santa for the holiday. We kept that tradition going. Couple more things. Tom Cummings has come back about 3 different times, produces public access programming, and finally, Audrey Seal from the Impact Norwood has done 6 podcasts. So we're still happening here at Norwood Community Media. We're doing these meetings now. Mike Maloof's down the hall, just wrapped up ZBA and is covering this meeting for us. So government meetings, I think, really have had an uptick, and we're right there covering them all. We take a lot of value in that so people can really see local government. So to recap, to close, I mean, Norwood Community Media, I think is really vital to the town of Norwood here, providing all kinds of content so people can find out what is going on. And with help from the top, from Tony and to all the department heads, we can't do it. So we thank the cooperation for the town. And thank you for the positive feedback that we get from parents from other communities. When they can watch their child come from Hopkinton or Holliston, they email us and thank us for the coverage because they can't come. So that's where we are right now. And I can answer any questions if anybody has any.
That's great. And yeah, I think Norwood has really come to rely on Norwood Community Media, especially, during the COVID thing, to stay connected. I know the senior center has taken advantage of the capabilities, put stuff online that seniors can use when they have to shut down. One question though. So do you have any kind of broadcast sharing arrangements with other towns that we compete with in sports things? Or do you just tell people to go online and watch the streaming?
No, yeah, we just got a whole bunch of games from Hopkinton today and Westwood as well. So we give Westwood our games and Westwood gives us. So we're doing that exactly like the old coaches film exchange. We're doing the same thing. With
great.
Stations. And actually, Richard, I'm glad you mentioned the senior center because we shared Norfolk wanted to watch our exercise program that they produce up there, and they gave us one that they sent us. So it actually has helped the community media world where people are sharing films, videos.
Okay. Ours is probably better because we got Steve, but that's a whole nother issue. So,
Hey, Jack,
yeah,
I just want to
that's great.
you guys are doing a great job. I find myself watching the channel a lot more than I ever have before. So thanks again.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Jack.
Great.
Is there any word on the hospital? I don't hear that. Never hear anything on that.
No, haven't heard anything. I was going to reach out. We did a lot of coverage with them. I think, now that the holidays come and gone, I think I'll reach out to see if they have anything that they may want to say. But no, I haven't heard anything. Not since the last.
It's a mystery. It's a big mystery. I don't know what the big secret is. Are they going to open again, or are they just going to let it deteriorate?
Well, the last I think we reported is that I believe that it cannot be the LaRusso building anyway cannot be rebuilt. So it's probably going to be. I think that's what the statement said. That it's going to probably have to be, built a new one built. But they're going to try to save it. Well, we can look into that. It's about time for an update. We can reach out and see what we get from the president.
So, great. All right. If that covers everything for tonight, I think we should the Cable Commission, not the other companies, should maybe meet again briefly next month. I think there would be an update on what I find out about who's going to be our lawyers for the next contract negotiation and how that's going, the helpline. So, the complaint line, so we'll know what's going on there. And I think there was one other thing rattling around in the back of my mind for another meeting. And I'm not sure. But just briefly getting together. Oh, Jack, if I want to make sure when we go through the contract this time that NCM has every opportunity to present its requirements and needs so that everybody hears that all the time, so that we clearly have that available while we're negotiating, and that Verizon, and Norwood Light we're supposed to negotiate with them too. Everybody understands the point, that we're taking about what we're looking for, both in terms of service for the customers, but also the importance of NCM and getting resources for it, that it's like, we consider that a vital part of our contract negotiations and a vital outcome of successful contract negotiation for the town. So I just want to make sure that's all laid out. And you did a great job last time. I mean, you had dollar numbers, we used those, and I think it's important that we make sure we have that for the next round of negotiations. So maybe we can discuss that briefly at our next meeting next month too. So sadly, we can't strategize in private about what we're going to do during contract negotiations, but I think our strategy is so, what we really want to accomplish is very clear. There's no like springing that on anybody. It's a surprise anyways. We want to make sure the town's served and that Norwood Community Media gets the resources it needs for it to serve the town. Those are our goals, right? Great.
One of the things that came to mind is, maybe this is a bit of advice for whoever the lawyer is that if we can find out who's already maybe a little bit ahead of Norwood, so we can find out what the companies are doing before they come to Norwood.
That's especially Verizon. I think we were a little ahead of everybody, maybe.
I think
No, that
last
turned out not to be true.
it was right before us, I think, last time, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, there was one or two towns ahead of us, and it was a shock when Verizon asked for a 5-year contract. And I have to tell you that we asked we and the lawyers asked the other companies, do you guys want 5-year contracts? And they basically said, heck no, why do we want to do that every 5 years? So so who knows what they're going to be up to this time. So
We don't want another repeat of what happened when the contract was signed. That I got called in on that, and they stopped Jack from coming with us and all that. I mean, there was a whole hassle over it. They were both pulled over the 5-year contract.
Yeah, it was, but that's, as that's what they demanded of everybody, and it seems silly, but but I think what we negotiated for the payment,
they were blaming us
better,
for
actually.
the contract. It wasn't us, it was the selectmen signed it.
right? I tell you, you may know that back in the day I worked for Verizon. That's how I retired out of. But I would tell you, I worked for Verizon at a time when William Barr was their head legal counsel. Yes, our former attorney general. And I will tell you, piece of work. And I don't think their legal department's recovered. So just, I can't even tell some of the stories, but when I heard he was going to be the Attorney General of the United States, I almost fainted. So anyway, all right. So the third Wednesday next month, does that work for people? I think it does. Wait.
That would be the 16th.
Yeah.
The 16th
Okay.
of February.
I think
And
that's
that would
good.
just be just the commission.
Just us, just the commission, and Jack should attend and represent NCM, because I mean we work for the selectmen, not for the electrical commissioners, the selectmen. Oh, they just happen to be the same people, but I supporting NCM is part of our mission. I have to tell you, and people watching this, if you watch a cable commission meeting in another town, it might not be like this. it might be very cut and dried and very legalistic and not held very often. But I feel, I think the other members feel, and Joan, that part of what we do as a commission is educate the town about what's going on with this and present a forum for providing some of the information that you might not otherwise get. It's not necessarily part of our legal requirement or mission, but I think it's something that helps the town when we do it. And I haven't gotten in trouble yet, right? Well, there was that one time with Verizon about telephone poles. So we all set, and I guess then I'll wait for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
adjourn.
Second.
And a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much, and good night.
Thank you.